I wonder how many minutes we've wasted waiting at the end of our life when we're dying. If God came back and was like, here's how many minutes you wasted waiting for somebody. Sometimes an hour, sometimes 30 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and then another 10 minutes, and another 5 minutes. And that's 45 minutes of your life or 35 minutes of your life. That's a lot of time, okay? I'm AZD, also known as Spider. This is IMC Nation. It's a worldwide movement. And for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you our philosophy and what made us a movement. And we're on time. 10 o'clock is when the lecture starts, okay? And the ending of it is a little different always for me. But the ending, you're always welcome to leave and end it whenever you like. You can turn it off right now and it ends. So the start is up to me, the ending is up to you. Okay? In fact, when the lecture ends, for some people it doesn't end. They go to the next class, some people go study, some people come back here, things like that, right? So you decide the ending, I start on time, all right? And you end it when you want. So this is a movement, okay? A movement happens because a set of new ideas take place. That's what a movement, if you want to know how to start a movement, I'm going to write a How to Start a Movement 101 book, okay? I go on a podcast and say, how did you start a movement? There's all these young men that want to start a movement. I say, okay, let's start with this, okay? First, you're going to have to start with an idea. A movement starts with an idea. What's an idea? Let's try it like this. All women should get boob jobs. That's a movement now, okay? And I'm going to go around and I'm going to start to explain why all women should have boob jobs. I don't believe in that, but I'm just saying, right? A movement. All men must have short hair from now on. Can become a movement. Sounds ridiculous, but it's an idea. It's an idea, right? And if you don't think it's powerful, then there's a movement right now, and it's called loving kids or kid love, which is actually pedophile, right? And they're saying that that it's okay if an adult wants to have sexual relations with a child. They're saying that. If you don't believe it, go look it up right now.
It's called NAMBLA.
What is it?
NAMBLA.
It's called nasty. Yeah, it's called nasty. You see, that's the thing, right? If we name it NAMBLA and we don't name it nasty, we actually change our perspective, and that's what they want. They want to name it something that it's not. Keep that in mind, because that's a perfect example of what I do. Now, in your own world, just like that, you've named a bunch of suffering so that it's okay to suffer. You inside have made pedophilia okay somehow. Otherwise, you'd probably act differently around it. Right? So somehow you made it okay. Or you inside have made men and women at war okay. You've accepted the idea that men and women can never actually be together and be fulfilled. You accepted that idea, right? And when you accept the idea, you become part of the movement of the idea. That means that any time an opposing idea tries to come in, right, it blocks it. That's what a movement is, right? Feminism movement. Any idea of like a man being better in any shape or form at all is attacked, right? And then they get trapped in that idea. So now they want to box men and like one of them dies or something. Okay, one punch, knockout. They want to swim against men. Men will just swim like a fish compared to a woman, right? Like, that's not, is that what the idea was? Was the idea to destroy women? Or was the idea to make women stronger when it was feminism? If the idea was to make women stronger, then I have to figure out what their strengths are and communicate that to the world. Because that's how God does it. God doesn't try to make the scorpion fly so that the scorpion could be even better in the jungle, right? God doesn't try to make the caterpillar create some kind of poisonous tail like a scorpion. It turns him into the butterfly. That's his evolution. So we have to first check to see what God already decided before you and I took a name. Like, who were you before your name arrived? Right before your birth certificate was signed and they said, that's Jack, who are you? That one, right? Before you arrived, there was a game and the code of the body was written in the stars. That's astrology. That's every planet in that moment, the moment that you're breathe into it, right? You become the breath of the universe. That's why they say we're all born of cosmic dust. Because your first breath is going to include the entire cosmos in it. Scientists would tell you this is true. Doesn't mean they know what they're talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. So the first moment Let's say now we start mapping the stars. That's astrology, so that we can talk about it. When I was born, let's say, right? The moon, you know how it moves across the sky? The moon was in that area that we call Aquarius, right? And the sun was in Aquarius or whatever. So where was the sun? It was over there. Where was the moon? It was over there. What about Jupiter? Because that's a big-ass planet. And if you're a system, it's called the solar system we're part of, right? We're like bacteria on one of those life forms. The solar system, Jupiter is a big player. It's like you could say my heart is big. So if it suffers, everything suffers, right? So where Jupiter was, the energy of Jupiter, because it's not just like a rock in air, it's spinning really fast, and anything that spins creates sound. So it has a sound. You can look it up on YouTube. You get the frequency of every planet and they play it for you, right? So we can't hear it, but maybe Earth can hear it, right? Because Earth and Jupiter are on the same shelf. Me and you are on the same shelf, right? The ant and the termite, they're on the same shelf. But the ant doesn't see me. I don't think he does. How could he? Look how tall I am. See how tall I am? You can't see me. So we're on one shelf, right? And then we see that Earth is a living creature. Because everywhere you go around Earth, if you scoop any part of it up, you'll find life in it. And how do you and I know we're alive? Because if you scoop the cells up, it's alive. And if you go to a dead person, he's not. So our cells are living, right? And Earth, wherever you go, it has different cells. Human cells, lion cells, plant cells, all kinds of cells, right? But these are cells on the skin of Earth. Some bacteria inside the dirt, right? So we're the surface dwellers. We're like staph infection. We're on the top, right? And when you're on the top, if there's any kind of weather change, like a climate change on top, like oil or anything touching your skin, affects every cell that's on top. So we're going to receive the top. But if inside there's an earthquake and it's big enough, then it's going to rupture into a pimple or an ulcer or a rash. And that tells you inside there's too much heat. So this is called as above, so below, as within, so without. That's the information I have. I come from the future. See you in the next class. All for men.